Hi, good evening. Can you hear me? Got a couple of minutes yet till we start officially. Just want to wait till the approved time, the agreed time. Rupinder, oh, good to see you. Can you hear me okay? Hope you're well. You've been signing up for loads of our webinars. And I've been trying to contact you. Hope you're okay. What would you like to get from this evening, Rupinder? Okay, can't see anything there. We've got a little bit of time yet. Okay, it's 7:30. Good evening. My name's Norman Murray and I work for Learning for Success. This webinar will take about 30 minutes, give or take, and really looking forward to seeing as many of you as possible. What we're going to talk about is how we can bring values into the performance management. Yep, I think we're already first level connections, Rupinder. If we're not, I will do it very soon. We're going to talk about performance management. We're going to talk very briefly about why we should do performance management. We're going to do about some of the problems within performance management. Then I'm going to show you a platform. Buenos dias, Silvia. Good to see you. Madrid is a lovely, lovely city. We're going to be talking about why we need to do performance management and the problems with performance management, and looking at a platform that can incorporate the values and drive behavior into your business. So let's get started. This is our overall message. We want a performance management that has a sense of purpose. It's evidence-based. It's principles-led, based on your values and your vision. And it's outcomes-driven. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. This is some of the clients we've worked with in the last 25 years or so. Otherwise, it becomes too salesy. Some problems that some of our clients in the NHS have had, which resonates with some of you: high levels of sickness, record numbers of people leaving for better jobs elsewhere, high rates of mental health issues, which leads to delays in responding to customers, and if you're in the NHS, patients. Conversely, many of your staff have never been better trained to do their job. So performance management, some of the problems. It can take up valuable staff time, and that makes it a negative to begin with. It can seem old-fashioned, clunky. It's paper-based, or indeed the paper-based the paper-based has been put on the system, which again makes it still clunky, not agile. It's not tailored to the individual, teams, or even the division. So therefore, its relevance comes into question. It doesn't improve the relevance, it doesn't improve the engagement, and interest in it is waning. There's no immediate feedback to affirm or adjust behaviours. So again, it's not a live working tool, which you want your performance management to be. An ongoing conversation. There's no measurement in place, including that of the culture. And we believe if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. And if you can't manage it, you can't improve it. And one of the features of what I'm going to show you is about continuous improvement. And also no SMART goals or ongoing coaching conversations as part of the process. So why review performance management? First of all, to make people feel valued. First and foremost, that's what you want. People have done a good job. You want to be able to say, well done. A few tweaks here and there, but overall, well done. It allows you to set new goals. It enables you to sort out minor grievances, things that are just bubbling under the surface, not major things, but just minor issues. We also believe that it strengthens the relationships between the leader and the team, because performance management at the end of the day is a leadership issue. And we strongly believe that resources plus relationships equals results. And in most organizations, resources are fixed. It's the relationships that are the variables. If you can get the relationships right to the resources, it'll improve the results. It helps to refocus your team and prioritize your team on what needs to be done. Also, as a team leader, you get an oversight of the current projects and the current work issues and the stumbling blocks that people may have. It also allows you to assess training needs of your own team. And for sure, once a year or even twice a year is not enough. Your organizations are changing just too quickly these days for once or twice a year for these kind of conversations to happen. This is about appraise. And in summary, you appraise people. Knock off the AMP and it becomes praise. That's why we need to regularly carry out these conversations. Feedback from our clients. What they've said they want is to define clear employee objectives, followed by effective performance measurement process, supported by meaningful analysis of results that leads to constructive performance conversations about feedback and training. Is this what you're looking for from your performance management? Do give us some feedback in the feedback box. So why should you consider us for your performance management? We believe very much in what Steve Jobs said way back in 1997. Start with you, the client or the customer, and work back to the technology. So tell us what you want and we'll deliver it. Secondly, we believe we're probably the cheapest on the market, yet fully functional, with reports for all your managers. And thirdly, it saves time and is easy to use because you design it. You tell us what you want and we'll do it for you. That's enough of the sales pitch. So what does our system do? It allows for peer and upward performance reviews, a really holistic view of people's performance. So it's not just people that get on well with the manager that gets a good review. You can start to broaden it out and get a holistic 360 view of people's performance. We've also found that younger people in the organization are crying out for feedback, for genuine feedback about how they're performing, and more, and crucially, where they think they can improve. The younger managers are absolutely driven for this kind of feedback. It's tailored to the individual, so it's much more relevant, much more engaging, much more interesting. There's immediate feedback to affirm or adjust behaviours, so it becomes a live document, not the sort of document that just gets put into some kind of cupboard or it's online there and it gets pulled out whenever HR tell them to do it. It's an ongoing useful tool. There's dynamic goal setting, where one part of the organisation or one division can set goals for its division without affecting other parts of the organisation. It also links measurable performance feedback to training. There are other positives along the way as well. So this is the landing page. We could use whatever picture you wanted, whatever picture would be meaningful for your organization. We would use your organization's colors and logo, so you would own it. Each employee gets their own username and password to log in. So again, it becomes much more engaging, much more relevant and interesting. The other feedback we've had from our clients is people don't like to be appraised. So don't do it. Call it developing your potential, unlocking your potential. One of our clients is in the lighting business. So it's light up your potential. One is in railways. So it's making a track for your potential. All sorts of innovative ways we can do it. Just don't call it your appraisal, I guess. So once they've logged in, this becomes the team page. This is Simon's Checked team. There's an online tutorial. So everyone gets the same information at the same time, which cuts down costs, cuts down time. People aren't away from the business for 1 or 2 days at a time. There's a list of team members in the team. So team leaders get a list of who's in their team. Having said that, there would be a number of key senior people, like yourself, Rupinder, who would have a global overview. So you would be able to go into anyone's performance review across the site. There's different reports that you can make. So from any time, any person, any team. There's different reports, which I will talk about later. You can change passwords. You can also send notes in real time. So if someone does something really good, it can be, I really enjoyed your presentation, Rupinder. I thought it was really good. This is what I took from it. Or Norman, really enjoyed your meeting. Thought it could be better structured, Norman, if you had an agenda. It's those like little things that that people could use from it. So you'll notice that there's 3 people in Simon Check's team. You would tell us the frequency you want the performance conversations to take place. You can put notes in and do appraisals. This is an appraisal for someone. They can do 3 types of appraisal. They can do the classic downward appraisal. They can do peer-to-peer appraisal. So anyone in their division can have an input into their performance, and they can have an input into anyone in their at their level into their performance. And also anyone in their team can have an upward feedback. So again, it's very structured, and it gives you an holistic view of someone's performance. You'll also notice that here, click on here for issues of performance reviews. This sets out the classic reasons for having a performance review, why you must do it and how you must do it. This is ours. We can put yours in there if you want. Again, it cuts down the costs of training in terms of time and money. Now, section A is the general, we've called it the general section. This is where we would strongly recommend you putting your performance, your values and your culture. So what questions would you like in here to elicit the behaviors you're looking for in terms of your values and your culture you want to work towards? And we would work with you with coming up with the questions that are required, whatever number of questions you want, put in there to work it through. So the first one is that question. Do we strongly disagree, disagree? Is it mixed? Is it agree or strongly agree? We can have those figures across the top. We can have numbers across the top, or any other form of words you want. It really is designed by you. The next section, this is from the performance responsibilities. This is taken from the job descriptions. Now, I don't know about you, but in the jobs I've had a job description when I first joined, and then it goes into some dark hole and it never sees the light of day again. But if you're appraising someone, you need to appraise them against their job. And we would take the key elements of the job from the job description and put it in here. So in this example, there is a budget in place which has costings and resources and delivers on time. Again, strongly disagree, disagree, mixed, agree, strongly agree. Or again, we can have numbers or whatever form of words you want across the top. And we would do that for whatever numbers you want. One of the things I forgot to mention is in the top section here, we would give this a rating of around 60%. In this section, we would suggest giving this a rating of around 30%. This section is the metric section. This cuts down. This is an objective view of people's performance because we're using numbers, so it makes it more objective, which cuts down bias and favoritism, and where the jobs are easily measurable. So in this instance, the parameters are you're doing a great job when it's 98%, and it's unacceptable when it's 85%. Again, we would work with you to put in the numbers that are required. And we'd suggest giving this section a 10% rating. But again, that's our suggestion. You would tell us what numbers you want to put in there. This section is the free form section. This looks at people's performance that isn't normally captured in KPIs. For example, people might be very good at getting people to take on a charity, or getting people to go to a team event or a team lunch. Or someone might be very good at, once they've done the organisation induction, they might be very good at being a buddy for the team and getting that person inducted into the team, so they get to know the ropes of the team and act as a coach or a buddy. They might be very good at that, but those sorts of things might not be mentioned as a KPI. So what are the strengths? What are the areas for growth? And the last one is the overall comments. And this is just a very simple free form section, like a Word document. Nice and easy, very simple. As one of our clients said, it's the glue that keeps a team together. And that's very much it. The next section, this is the final section. This is the growth section. This looks at setting goals for people. So at the top is a section on how to set goals. Again, that's our views, but we can use whatever you want as goals information for your team. Again, it cuts down costs, cuts down time, easy to use. People aren't away from the organisation, particularly from the front line, in understanding about their goals. Everyone gets access to it. So first box is, what is the goal? Next section, what is the plan to meet that goal? Next section, what is the time frame to achieve that goal? And the last section is, how will this goal be tracked or measured? Now, by encouraging people to use those boxes, we are creating smart goals. One of the feedback we've had from clients is that managers really, really like this, because it really encourages them to create smart goals. The other big feedback we've had is that it encourages managers to be coaches. And for sure, organizations are looking at how to encourage managers to be more coaches. And this really helps make that happen. Now, at the end of this section, if it's all finished, you click calculate and save. When you click calculate and save, up will come a number out of 100. And that's how well you've performed. Now, if the number isn't what I was, if Rupinder, you are doing my performance review and I score 65 out of 100, I might go, Rupinder, I've worked really hard this quarter and I've only got 60 or 65%. I think I've worked really hard, and I think I deserve more than that. You would go, right, go back to this section, Norman. This is where all our behaviours and values are. And this section carries 60% of the scores. So why don't you, Norman, work on one or two of these behaviours, and we can discuss it at the next performance conversation, next performance meeting, and see where you are. That then really drives the values and the behaviours that the organization is looking for. So in summary, this is the section that has your values and behaviors. It also carries the largest score, and you would be able to see how your organization is doing. This section looks at the actual job that people are doing, and it scores them on that. This is the metrics of how they're performing, which cuts down bias and favoritism. And this is the growth section. This is the section that looks at setting goals for people, short, medium, and long-term goals. And at the end, people come away with a score. And what we found is that people like the scores, with a few exceptions of the people that don't score well. They like the scores because it tells them how they're doing. So, do you have any questions? What questions do you have? If there are no questions, the next steps is to contact me. That's norman@learnfors.com, where we could have a more in-depth conversation, and I can show you the system in more depth. I'm quite happy to share with you the system so you can share it with your key support people, the people you want to share, the key stakeholders in your business, and quite happy to have that conversation about how to drive behaviors that you're looking for through performance management into your organization. It's a very clear way which managers, HR in particular, can help change the culture of an organization, can make it work in the behaviors and culture you're looking for. I'd really like to thank you for your time and wish you all the best. Thank you and good night.